Always, I'm joined by the wonderful Flo. How's it going, Flo?
Doing good. Thank you, Matthew. And you? How are you?
All good, all good. We're in we're just outside of Paris, and the weather's lovely. So it's yeah,
Yeah, so I'm glowing with the sun.
exactly. Yes, it's a halo.
It's quiet today. I hope you missed.
Yeah, I think maybe just because we're a few minutes late, it might have.
Yeah, they might have left.
Yeah, but fingers crossed, it picks up.
Do we have anyone in the chat?
There's not in the chat. I can see there's a viewer though.
So please don't be shy. Step in. We are here to help you. All right. I mean, might cut it.
I think there's 4 viewers, so I think it's picking up slightly.
Try it a bit longer.
Yeah, I think maybe give it 5 minutes, and then if there's
All right. So
nothing,
please,
then yes.
step in.
Hey, Abhishek.
Hello.
We're here to answer any questions you might have. So if you have any questions, building, WeWeb in general, that's what we're here for. So ask away. Thank you. There was some kind words from Abhishek there. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. It's enough. How can we help you?
Yes.
Would like to build. I mean, we are here for this. So,
Exactly.
so please step in if you have any questions or wish to have some feedback on something you built.
Production shapes. We actually do. Give me 1 second. The marketing team put something together really amazing for that, which is basically I guess a go-to-market checklist is the best thing to call it to make sure your app is production ready. So I'll just try and pull that up now.
And the linguistic that was not easy one. I spent 4 hours. This one, I didn't see this. So it was not going to the weekend issue at all. Completely separate. Yeah. Nothing to do. But it is at the same time. The weird URL that was crashing the server is turning this code.
So there's 2 links. I'll put them in the chat for you now. One is a high level, basically how to turn your idea into an app. That's the first one. And the second one I'll put in the chat is a more in-depth development roadmap, basically, that Ishika from the team put together. And it's really in-depth. It's amazing. So if you want a true checklist to make sure your app is production ready, the second link I put in chat should be really helpful.
Yeah. It's not something that you figure out until we found that the tip-tap error was not the real error.
Hey, Luke. Sure thing. I will put a link for you in the chat. No worries. Hey, Luke.
How are you?
Good.
Hey,
How's
Luke.
it going?
Long time no see. I love this. Are you guys on is this offsite again? Is that the background I'm seeing right now, Flo? Yeah. Look at me. I know where you guys are. That means I've been here too much. If I can recognize your location by the background, that's probably a problem. But
You're like the GeoGuessr pros.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get like it's gonna be like a 5-second clip of me just like background, and then I'm gonna get like 10 kilometers from where you guys are at.
Exactly.
It's a little suspect, but anyways, I'm glad that I'm finally back. I know it's been a while, so I have a quick little thing I'm trying to figure out. I kind of made like a workaround with this collection, but here, let me share screen. So essentially, we've added, which is kind of cool, we added like coding ability to our electric skateboards. And we have like tutorials that will go through teaching them about the tool we've created, and then also Lisp, which is the language that will be coded on. So essentially, what I want to happen, like this is the dashboard they'll see before, like there's a couple different areas that they'll see. Once they click on it, it's going to come up with that topic. And then originally before, it was just like all 10 of these tutorials in just one collection. What I wanted to ideally happen is like separate it out by this parent group, which is just a column in Xano. But what I'm kind of doing as a workaround, because I can't like dynamically set the amount of groups there are, if that makes sense, I'm like doing this filter by tutorial group, and this is the second group, so it's one index, and I'm only showing it conditionally as if the length of that tutorial group, which is like an array, is more than 2 for group 2, and then it keeps going more and more. I don't know if there's a way to make it so it's not like static like that. I was curious to see what you guys might think. Also, if you have like any design recommendations, because right now this is what I'm thinking it'll look like, and I kind of want these groups to look different. It just doesn't look great. So curious what you guys might think.
Yeah. So my first question would be: you mentioned that you couldn't get the groups to repeat. What was the sticking point around that?
Maybe I can. I just don't really know what would be the best way of setting up. So like each group has their own columns in it that's grabbing these tutorial lessons based off the filter of what that parent group is. So I don't know to have like basically like a collection nested into another collection. I don't know how to really do that. Does that make sense?
I think so. So you want to break down based by parent group, is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Essentially, like there's, can I share here, let me share my full screen so I can show you what the Xano looks like. Sorry, you were gonna say?
Yeah, so instead of doing it for each one of them, maybe it's where you bound to the listen, and this is where you should group by, I guess, to have only one set of data, and then you would bind to that set of data. So could you, in here, okay, just so we won't mess up with what you have, could you copy paste this group 1 in here? Okay, super. And now can you, okay, so and inside you've got, okay, let's try to, okay, could you just group text and group 1 inside? Can you select texts, and group 1 and make it into one, so we could have only one child inside group 1. So can you also select group 1? But you click command and you, shift, sorry, and then text.
And the text, shift.
Yeah,
okay.
And then you can command G to group them.
G.
Yeah, perfect, super. And so now can you select the parents? So group 1. Okay, and go to repeat item, toggle it on. Okay, super. And now can you bind items? Okay, and in here you are trying to bind to listens. That's right. Could you just bind to your full collection? No, really Yeah, sorry. Yeah, tutorial lesson. Okay, super. Bind to tutorial lesson. Okay, these are your groups. So keep that in mind. I really want all the data instead in there.
Gotcha. So instead, it's going to be
Yeah.
this is where that.
Okay, but I'd like that really at the parent level.
I see. Gotcha.
So really, without the formula, really, I want everything, all groups, all data, everything.
So here should just be
Oh, in here.
all the
But
tutorial
I think it would be more on the parent. But well, that's fine. I mean, we'll be able to copy paste after. Okay, super. So now can you just open the first one? Yes, below, super. And so you group. It was by. You wish to group by parent group. Okay, super. So here, I don't remember if we have a dedicated formula for this. Did you try to group by with a formula?
No.
Well, let's try it. So could you go to formula? It's really the last one in the tabs, below. No, in here. Stay here.
Yep.
In the Data Explorer, where you're bound to tutorial lessons, we are going to change that formula.
Gotcha.
And in here, if you go to the formula list below,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, group by. I think we have a formula for this. Yeah, super. Click on it. And can you over the formula? I don't remember. Yeah, just it's array and key. Okay, super. So first one, comma, and then between quotes, it's the key of your group. Okay, and you see in here, it's grouped by your groups.
Yep.
So basically now you can repeat, and then you can bind to the data. So you will bind only once.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it makes sense. Let's try it.
Okay. Okay.
So can you copy that formula? Copy
Yep.
that formula.
Okay.
Okay, and you can unbind this. Okay, now go to the parent, to the Flexbox parent, and even the one before, really the group one, the one super, and paste in here. So you can remove this, and you can paste. Okay, so now within the Flexbox below, it should be repeated 3 times. Why we don't have anything? Can you open the formula again? There's this one. It's because it's not an array. Okay, let's use AI. I think we don't have a no-code formula for this. Okay, so could you toggle it to JavaScript? It's a simple JS. JavaScript, open AI, open edit with WeWeb AI, and you need to ask for. So basically, what you want. So you want an array of arrays. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
An array of arrays, and so what you can say is, so the source, you can say the source is, and then you need to select it to give it as a context. So it was listen, I don't remember. Yeah, listen group. So this is the source, super. So the source is a tutorial group. And you need to say, I want to group by tutorial underscore group. And you say, I don't want an object. I want an array of arrays. I think he's going to understand. You want a list of lists.
So the
idea is that you see in here in the formula, it's an object with key, and then inside each key, you've got an array, and you don't want to structure the data like this. You want to have a list, and the first one will be your first group, and then and so on and so on. Or maybe we should have give it some example. Well, let's see what it's going to do. Okay, can you open the first one? Induction value. It's almost this. So what you can say, you can tell it. So within the first, within the first one, the first item. That's sorry, it's like this. Sorry. So the first item is an object instead. It's going to be even better. So the first item must be an object with 2 keys. The first one is the group name. Name, and the second one is the list. Let's try this.
This has definitely gotten. I think the last time I used the AI was wild X. This is a lot better. This is great.
Coding basics. Okay, I like. No, why we don't have the list? Okay. Well, I have the JavaScript in here. I'm going to give it to you. I should definitely add this this as a no-code formula because it's pretty useful for this use case. Okay, do you have other questions while I find this?
Just a design. Like if you guys had any recommendations on like how to make that look better, keeping in mind that it's kids that will be using it. Like already right now, I obviously have like, you know, typical card with like a shadow picture next to it, but I don't like it'd be great if like each of the groups, like right now I just put a stroke around it, but like that doesn't look good. I just don't really know what would be the best way to make it look cool too. Like to make it so that the groups look separated, if that makes sense, without just like padding and stuff.
Once we have the data in place, again, I think the AI would be great to use.
You think?
I think so. Probably its strongest point is design.
Gotcha.
So just giving it clear instructions, as you said, I want clear separation. Even saying it's going to be made for kids.
Gotcha.
It should be a very good starting point design-wise.
Cool.
Honestly, can you try it right now? Like,
right.
just give the raw data as an example and ask what you want. Like perfect. Select maybe the group one instead.
Group one.
Yes,
Okay.
this one. Group one. And you've got tutorial group. Yeah. Ask it.
Yeah. Just before you send it, by the way, Luke, make sure you start a new chat, just so it doesn't take anything you previously input and misuse it.
Let's see. Flo, how has everything been?
I think he's deep in the zone.
He's deep. That's its thought process. This is so cool.
Let's see.
You just asked me if I did something. Is it like asked me? Does he ever skip?
Because you gave it the data, it should automatically set everything up to use the
Yeah,
data.
yeah, absolutely.
This is sick. This is so cool. Again, I haven't used probably since like maybe even 1.0, maybe 2.0 I used, but I haven't used 3.0 at all.
You want really to present? What? You should really want to present? With the Roberto?
Where are you guys for the? Where is the offset?
Just outside Paris.
Nice. What's the weather like in France?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now,
Today,
so why is it? So it's. Did you have an image in the data?
yeah. So there'll be images for each of the cards.
Okay, let's see what it's used for the bindings. So it's tried to bind something, but I don't know if it's bound the correct thing. Let's see on the image. If in edit mode, if you click on the image binding, just to see what it's bounded to. On the right-hand side, yeah, thumbnail. So was this inside the list?
This is what I wanted.
Uh,
Group name and then the list. Wonderful.
No, but I think it's used. It used the variable that we set up, right? That perhaps wasn't.
It was not the right variable.
It wasn't the right one, so that's why it hasn't worked for the bindings.
Yes.
So that was an AI's mistake. It was our
was so
mistake for giving it
close.
the wrong variable.
It was so close. But let's. Can you select the group one again? Yes, and go back to AI, or maybe you can change it also. Oh, okay. And instead of tutorial group, it's not tutorial group. It's
Tutorial lessons.
Yeah, the one with everything. Yeah, super. And can you do it again with a tutorial lesson instead? Or you can ask in the conversation, I suppose.
Okay.
Use the tutorial lesson as the source.
Actually, it's gonna be tutorial lessons. That's what.
Let's see if it understands this.
Today in New York, it's the hottest day in 12 years.
My God, what
So
temperature is it?
hopefully it's gonna break 100 Fahrenheit. So it's a sauna here.
I have to do a quick calculation to F to C. Well, 38 or 37 degrees. My God.
Yeah. It's a
I
tough
was
one.
I was looking at the elsewhere, but I think you had the formula opened when you type when you hit enter, so it tried to change the formula instead. So I'm sorry, you're gonna have to try again.
So have the
Just update the UI and formulas. Say something like this.
update.
The formula.
And this was the original form, which is why I think I asked.
We definitely need to add something glowing when you're on the formula.
It will be still off and will happen.
How hard has it been to integrate the AI into it?
You can answer that one, Flo.
I'm sure it's super hard.
I'd say not simple.
Yeah, definitely not.
Actually, you know, it's hard.
But honestly, we are getting more and more good results, and
Yeah.
this is getting somewhere. We are starting to really like. So, but of course, we do need to update still many things. But
This is fascinating to see. I mean, for it to just know all the context like this, and yeah, that's awesome. Am I holding anybody else? Anyone else on the like waiting to go?
No, I think it's just you for the time being, so we're all good.
Sweet. Lucky you guys. My roommate will be going to. It's pronounced cons, right? Or is it canes? Or is it none of those? Cans. Is it cans?
I'm not sure. Flo is in France. Is it Cannes?
Yeah. Or cans.
Can't for
place?
sorry. Can you say that
place?
again? The place.
Yeah.
Where
Is it Cannes?
That's where my roommate's going.
Ah, no, it's not. Wait, yeah, we say Caen.
Cannes. Oh.
Con.
No, it's in Normandy though, but more in the countryside.
Yeah.
So
Just going there for-
one thing,
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to try this. So it doesn't seem like it's done it again, but I think we may have just you said update the UI in the formula, and I think it might have just been too brief for it. Let's try it once more, but
Okay.
let's if you undo everything to take it back to the very original state you had with the cards.
Yeah. Should I just copy and paste group one again?
You know what? Actually, let's
Can
Okay,
undo.
great.
if you delete the flex box, I find sometimes if you start from a blank slate, it works really well. So let's see, if you delete the flex box and then click on the group, if you go into edit and
So you can unbind this.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how best to input the prompt. Maybe if you start a new chat,
Do we want to copy what we said before?
yeah, and then start a new one, and if you just say inside this group one div,
If I can spell today.
no, do you have a sorry, could you go back to the chat you had before where you gave
Yeah.
it the instructions of, it was more the design instructions you gave it.
Ah, gotcha.
This one, yeah.
Bang,
If you, and then,
paste.
sorry, and then a new chat again.
Gotcha.
You-
Gotcha.
Yes, and then so inside this, I want the flex boxes to separate. And then at the very bottom, if you say use tutorial lessons as the data source. I want the flex boxes designed to be inside this div group one. So at the first bit, inside this div group one, say I want to show the tutorial lessons, or I want to list the tutorial lessons. That's probably a better way to phrase it. I want to list the tutorial lessons. And would you want a card design, perhaps, or just let the AI spitball pretty much?
I think the card design. To keep
Cool.
it
So just,
consistent.
I want the tutorial lessons in a card design. And I want the Flexbox design to be separate, and then get rid of the stuff about the Flexbox design since we deleted the Flexbox. So just in case it confuses it. And then in a card design with clear separation, and then we'll see what it goes from there. Yeah, super. Let's see what it does with that. Fingers crossed it's
And keep this part.
yeah.
So just remove the multiple.
Let's see.
Oh, wow, that's my favorite. It's so funny. It's so true. That's what reminds me of Luca. Right?
Just because I'm curious, I don't know if this is like trade secret at all. Is this using like your own LLM, or is it like what's the infrastructure for it? If it's proprietary, don't tell me. I'm just curious.
No worries, no worries. I can give you some insights. It's using many things. So depending on what you do, it's not using the same things. We have
Got it.
multiple agents, and so depending on the agents, we are not using the same model.
Gotcha. That's so cool. That's awesome. You must be a very busy guy, Flo.
I think everyone is busy in the
Yeah, that's right. Super.
Okay, let's see.
I think it's grouped it.
Yeah, it looks good. Otherwise, I found the formula. I sent
Yeah.
it over to you. Okay.
Okay, I think it might have.
Yeah,
Voila.
that's great.
Maybe you said there was images though, right? Let's check because it might have tried to bind the images in that white space. Let's see.
Return.
I think it's a thumbnail. It should be.
Check the data in
course.
item.data below. Yeah, can you scroll? Yeah, maybe you can unbind and just bind directly to you. Yeah, and bind it again.
Oh, no.
Those URLs definitely work.
Yeah. Can you try that URL? Oh, the 2 points are not looking good at the end.
I just copied. Did you? I don't know if I shared the whole screen. Did you see it?
You can see your WeWeb.
Got it. Yeah, I did pull up the right image.
Okay, could you scroll down then on the right-hand side? I'm wondering if it's some kind of on the styling panel.
Ah, maybe it's animated. Can you click preview?
Ah, yes. Yeah, that's a good point. No,
Oh, no.
okay.
No.
Maybe if you scroll down on the far right to the very bottom, I'm wondering if it's a Z index thing. Sorry, in the styling panel, so the one with the pencil icon. Just above this. If you put the Z-axis to on, just to see, no, okay. And one thing it might be is I saw if you scroll up, I think it applied some weird padding or margin. Yeah, that if you get rid of the padding, maybe just to see, and then maybe
it tried to do the cover by itself. This is why. I think.
If you give it a height, Luke. So if you go to the height and then put it to fix, just to make sure that this is the problem. Okay, there we go. I think. Is that correct? It seems correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Super.
Sweet. That looks so good. This is so much better than that screen that's right before it. So it's gonna be a little awkward, but that's okay. Sweet. Amazing. Let me see if actually I'll have to fix the other one. So this is great. Thank you guys. Now I've seen how powerful the AI. And then Ashika, I wish I haven't responded. She wanted me to do the. It's just been so busy all over the place. We just got like our scooters. I don't know if you guys have time just to screw around and show you guys for a second. But it's been we had like summer camps running this summer. Literally like getting it there just in time. Jared went out to China, but while we're here, I'll show you super quick what they look like. But anyways, I have to do that review, so now I'm gonna do that. But this is what they look like.
So cool.
So cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. But anyways, now I have something to write about. other than everything else I've read about anyway. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great time at your offsite, and yeah, hopefully it'll be another few months until I see you guys again. That's good. That's
No.
good.
No, anytime pop in. We're more than happy to help.
Yeah.
You're the best. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See you then.
Right, we had a few questions from Tamara in the chat. I think the first one we won for you, Flo. He says, hey guys, saw a post from Slavo and he said that keeping width and height on auto isn't good for performance and we should use pixel. Do you know if using percentage is also better for performance?
So it's true for items you are repeating. So if you are repeating some rows, for example, because you are making a table by yourself or something like this, indeed it's better to have a fixed height, because your brother basically is calculating for every item you are repeating the height, and so sometimes it could takes more time to render the UI because of this. So good practice when you are repeating a lot of things is to really add a fixed height. If you're curious, for example, you can go to Google Sheets and you inspect the code, and if you take a look to the row, it's a fixed height for the row, because if it was auto in there and you had hundreds of rows, it would explode, basically.
Cool. His next question related to nodes in workflows. So if a node in a workflow fails, I know it stops the whole workflow. But if I have two workflows set up on an element and one of the workflows fails, does it then also cause the other one to stop? And the answer would be no, I'm pretty sure. So if you have two workflows and one of them fails for whatever reason, it won't mean the other one fails. It will continue as you expect. And then the question after that, can I make sure that a specific node will activate when both workflows are finished? I'm not too sure what you mean by specific node. So what do you mean, a node in a brand new workflow? Yeah, because I'm not too sure what you mean in terms of when both of those workflows are finished.
Yeah.
What are you trying to execute? Is it a new workflow? I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
And then
a bit more details in this case.
And then the third question, when I make an asset, it looks like the asset can't get data of the component that it's in. It can do, but you would need to set that kind of thing up manually. And it also depends on if you're using a custom component or a no-code component. So if you're using a no-code component, there's two ways to go about it. In no-code components and in coded components, you can use what's termed drop zones. So what a drop zone is, it's basically a div inside of a component. So you can put whatever you like inside of an existing component. Like I guess a good example is a card component. You could create a card component and put a drop zone inside of your card component. So people can put whatever they like inside that card component. But if you want to pass data into whatever is inside of that drop zone, you either have to pass it through props. So you'd have to create a prop. If you put your own component inside of that drop zone, you would have to set up a prop on your component and pass in whatever data from a higher level into your component. Or when you are using drop zones inside of components, in the settings panel, there's a property called drop zone data. And whatever you bind to the drop zone data will automatically get passed to whatever is placed inside of that drop zone. And those elements inside of the drop zone can then access that data from the binding menu. So it kind of depends on your use case, to be honest with you. Exactly when you say you can't get, the asset can't get data of the component that it's in, it depends exactly how you're setting up that component, whether it's coded, no code, exactly what the asset is. But you can propagate that data. It's just a bit manual depending on your use case. And then for the node, you mean an action at general. Still, I'm not too sure exactly what you mean. Do you know?
So basically, yeah, maybe you have two workflows and then you want to wait for the two of them to end to trigger a third one, if I understand correctly. And if this is what you want to do, it can be done, but you need to trick a bit. So what you need to do is so you have your two workflows and both of them end to execute a global workflow. So the last action of those two is execute global workflow. And then on this global workflow, the first action must check if both of those workflows are done. So what you could do is to create, okay. So what you could do is to create a variable, and in that variable, how could you structure it? It could be an object with just two keys. So workflow 1, workflow 2. Workflow 1 done, workflow 2 done. True, false, basically. And what you would do is in the first workflow, the last action would be to update that variable. So you would update this object with the first key. So to change it to workflow 1 done. And the same for the second workflow. The last action would be a update variable value. And this time you would change the second key. Or you could create two variables if you prefer, if it's easier for you. That could be a Boolean. And then in that global workflow, the first action should check that variable or those two variables if they are true. And if they are true, then it's gone. Otherwise, you don't go on. It's a pass-through condition. This is the name of the action you need to add in that global workflow. So tell us if does that make sense for you? and if not, we can do it together if you like. If you step in on stage.
And I've also just put a link in the chat tomorrow, just to link for the drop zone data. We need to enrich that documentation just to give a better example, but it's there for the time being if it helps at all, of just how to pass data through drop zones.
Okay, super.
And by the way, tomorrow I did see you tag me in a community post, I think about a week ago, but I just didn't have the time to reply, related to updating components, and then whether that would update across the board, or you would then have to basically replicate all your components and recreate the logic and bindings. And the answer is you wouldn't have to. It would update across the board. So if you're using coded components, and I think you were in that post, you're referring to if you update the code of a coded component. Whenever you update a coded component and you update the version, whenever you update the version, that version then gets updated for all of that coded component you're using across your project. So you wouldn't need to go and rebind everything. If you had let's say a text input that was a custom coded component and you're using that across your project, if you update the code of that text input and then make that version the active version, every single instance of that coded component in your project gets updated to that new version. So all of the new functionality is added. You don't have to go across and, redrop the text input and rebind everything. It would update automatically across your project. Cool. Okay. I think we're about time. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Apologies, we're a couple of minutes late. Thank you for joining me, Flo.
Thank you, Matthew, for us too.
As always, we are here every Tuesday, 6 to 7 p.m. Central European time. And yes, we hope to see you guys next week.
See you.
Cheers, everyone.